Hello, I'm AJ, and today is all about reading. When I looked through the topics, I was very excited about this day because I love reading, and I love reading aloud as well. So, being able to read you a passage from my favourite book seemed like an excellent opportunity. I wasn't really sure what I was going to read because I think, like most people, I don't really have a favourite book, and certainly not a favourite passage. So I thought about books that I've reread, and I came up with a very small book by Tolkien that I've read several times, and I'll point out now that there are many books by Tolkien that I've read several times, so it's the very small part that identifies this one. This is the book, Smith of Wootton Major, and I haven't read it so often necessarily because it's small, but really because it's so nice. It's a fairy tale, and it's about a man who, as a boy, is given a fey star, which allows him to find his way into fairy. I think it's about privilege and responsibility, and the understanding required to see beyond the end of your nose. And I don't think any passage on its own will do it justice, but I've picked one from the middle of the story while the protagonist is wandering around fairy. So here it is. Enjoy. At last he found a road through the outer mountains, and he went on till he came to the inner mountains, and they were high and sheer and daunting. Yet in the end he found a pass that he could scale, and upon a day of days greatly daring, he came through a narrow cleft and looked down, though he did not know it, into the vale of Evermorn, where the green surpasses the green of the meads of outer fairy, as they surpass ours in our springtime. There the air is so lucid that eyes can see the red tongues of birds as they sing on the trees upon the far side of the valley, though that is very wide, and the birds are no greater than wrens. On the inner side, the mountains went down in long slopes filled with the sound of bubbling waterfalls, and in great delight he hastened on. As he set foot upon the grass of the vale, he heard elven voices singing, and on a lawn beside a river bright with lilies he came upon many maidens dancing. The speed and the grace and the ever-changing modes of their movements enchanted him, and he stepped forward towards their ring. Then suddenly they stood still, and a young maiden with flowing hair and kilted skirt came out to meet him. She laughed as she spoke to him, saying, "You are becoming bold, Starbrow, are you not? Have you no fear what the Queen might say if she knew of this? Unless you have her leave." He was abashed, for he became aware of his own thought, and knew that she had read it, that the star on his forehead was a passport to go wherever he wished, and now he knew that it was not. But she smiled as she spoke again. "Come, now that you are here, you shall dance with me." And she took his hand and led him into the ring. There they danced together, and for a while he knew what it was to have the swiftness and the power and the joy to accompany her, for a while. But soon, as it seemed, they halted again, and she stooped and took up a white flower from before her feet, and she set it in his hair. "Farewell now," she said. "Maybe we shall meet again, by the Queen's leave." I like the way this book is written. It uses very simple language to present very large pictures, and the simplicity allows the imagination to take hold, and the imagination is a very powerful thing. and giving it something simple allows it to do so much more. If you prescribe too much, I think you lose a lot of the imagination's power. G.R.R.Martin could take a tip from. I think people who've read Neil Gaiman's Stardust will like Smith of Wootton Major. I recommend both Smith of Wootton Major and Stardust. I hereby commend Smith of Wootton Major to my viewers. See you tomorrow.